Today we are going to be talking about the top 7 penny stocks that will be spiking in June 2019. Now the reason that I can say this confidently and undeniably is because the companies on this list literally tell you the exact date at which price changing events will occur. They do this through releasing FDA approval dates, phase trial data releases, as well as dropping many hints and clues to lead us to the right conclusion. But I do want to remind you to always have a plan. This is the most important part of these videos, is having a plan. A plan includes creating a list of criteria of what needs to happen in order for you to enter into a position and what needs to happen in order for you to exit a position. Buying in at confirmation and selling out at validation points, those are both good practices, but they are only one part of having a solid plan. And of course, this is not a place for people who like to hold and hope. Every single time I make one of these videos like clockwork, someone will comment that they're still holding one of the stocks from a previous video. Well, these are not stocks that you just buy and then randomly hold for months or years. So please keep that in mind. But anyways, you know, a lot of work goes into these videos, and all I ask from you in return is that you hit that beautiful and ravishing like button, and also don't forget to subscribe if you see value in the following video. Okay, so to start, if you want to trade commission free, my recommended broker is of course Webull. It's something that we've talked about quite a lot on this channel, but it's an excellent broker and has a great platform. So if you are broker curious, I do recommend checking it out. I'll put the link in the description below. Let's start with the big dog this month, the big FDA approval for June. This would be none other than PTN. So PTN will have their FDA approval decision on June 23rd for their Vyleesi drug. I probably messed up the pronunciation, but this drug is apparently a sort of female Viagra that is largely expected to have a huge market and thus massive profitability for the company. At least that's what they want us to think. Now, as we know, last stage, or rather PDUFA stage, FDA approvals have an 80% chance of approval. This is based on the approval rates for 2017 drugs, and someone did correctly point out in my last video that in 2018 it had a different rate. It was about 85%. But we'll continue with the more conservative estimate of 80%. So that means 8 out of every 10 drugs that are in the last stage of FDA approval will be approved ultimately by the FDA. Now compare this to the beginning of the stage, where we see only a 9% approval rating for drugs at that first stage when they're just beginning phase trials. So as you can see, as we go through the process of approval stages, the chance of approval goes up significantly. So anyways, moving back to the price action. PTN has had such a beautiful and clean run-up since pretty much the beginning of this year. This is actually something we rarely see in small cap biotech stocks, but is a huge bullish sign on what investors are expecting to happen on the 23rd. Now, I was thinking this was still undervalued when trading at highs of 170-ish, but now we've just had a discount. The two main analysts slash monkeys that rank this stock are putting it at a price target average of 438. And even the lower end is at 275, which is quite a jump from the new discounted price at 143. So monkey level of support is around 438. Moreover, we just suffered a fairly large pushback, 12% down, but much more during other parts of the day. And this is of course an excellent opportunity to see how resilient price strength is to pushbacks. Are investors dedicated to their outlook of the overall bullish sentiment of the company, or are they not? Are they going to be more bearish? If they're as dedicated as they were in the past with this consistent uptrend, then we should continue to see a recovery. In terms of insider activity, this company saw a massive increase in officers and board members acquiring shares towards the end of 2018. Insiders don't buy shares because they think the stock price is going to go down. They buy it because they think it's going to go up, and these insiders are the ones that have obviously the most knowledge of the company and its interworkings. And in biotech, this is so important because who do you think has the information first as to how the phase trials are going? Is it Billy Bob around the corner from your house, or is it the CEO of the company? That being said, they got in at a price point that was half the current market value, so they have already made quite a pretty penny, so it's hard to say if we've already seen most of the appreciation in their eyes or not. But moving further into the fundamentals, the balance sheet looks quite good. We have a decrease in expenses and an increase in overall revenue, leading to an overall net income after 2 years of losses. Also, I should mention that every single time that I talk about balance sheets, I get folks that kind of complain and they're like, Charlie, I don't understand why you talk about balance sheets. We're not holding these stocks, we're just trading. Why do you care about balance sheets? But this is simply very close-minded. As traders, we are looking for the short-term fluctuations in the run-ups. And these run-ups are caused by an influx of long-term investors. They tend to prefer investing in profitable companies as opposed to failing companies. But positive data can bring a whole swarm of new investors into the market with long-term horizons, but causing short-term fluctuations in their wake. So anyways, here we have a fundamentally very strong company, but also very likely undervalued company that also has a history of quite a consistent uptrend. This is quite a beautiful setup, and I'll say we'll see more volatility both leading up to and especially after the FDA announcement on the 23rd. But I guess the big question is whether or not the announcement will be baked in to the share price beforehand. A lot of people get confused when good news comes out for a company and then the share price doesn't move, or perhaps it moves in the opposite way. This is because if most investors were already anticipating news and were quite sure of it, the share price could factor that in beforehand. But with biotech, that usually isn't an issue, as it's sort of an odds game and is quite the arena of misinformation. But if there is a risk of having the share price baked in beforehand, that just means that we're going to have to be diligent in spotting that beforehand using signs of a reversal. So, of course, if the PUDFA doesn't go as planned, we will want to make sure to take advantage of the overall undervalued position. We will want to take advantage of that as well. But either way, make sure that you are getting in at a good deal. Buying intraday when the stock is overvalued just doesn't make sense unless it's a strong momentum play. Even then, with biotech penny stocks, we need to keep the odds in our favor as much as humanly possible, and getting below fair value and ideally oversold is a no-nonsense way of doing this. A lot of folks complain of risk, but then they don't take any extra effort to protect themselves, and that just doesn't make any sense. You need to make sure that you're getting in at a good deal. Also, I should mention that ABAG is in an exclusive licensing partnership with PTN, which is relevant to me in only the sense that it provides essentially more stability for the company. I think this article on Benzinga from literally a year ago sums this up perfectly. This, along with other aspects and partnerships, provides a de-risked opportunity. The more partnerships and heads on the chopping board, the less risky that investors are going to perceive the company. And this is very true going into these FDA approvals. Of course, partnerships internationally also create an image of large-scale market expansion, which in turn can help us to bring in more bullish investors. So CLDX is earlier in the phase trial process and will be releasing their phase 2 data on June 1st. Now, CLDX has a history of massive run-ups in anticipation and then massive breakdowns. These are by nature very temporary. As we could see, this huge behemoth was completely wiped away within like the span of a 2-week period. This is what we like to look for because it shows that the stock has a certain level of spikeability. Put simply, this just means that it is quite reactive to news events, which is great because that means it's more likely to have a big reaction to an upcoming one as well. It's not guaranteed, but it's more likely. This is another one of those plays that have a lower end volume for most of the year, but during news cycles tend to experience massive spikes in volume. So moving forward, we now have a play that has upward potential from $3.12 to $11.62 with monkey support at about $19. And again, monkey level of support is of course the level at which the analysts are projecting the stock price to be at in the future. This is not a main prediction, but rather gives us an idea of what the overall consensus estimate is, because if it is much lower than the price we are trading at, then we know that investors are going to be a little bit more discouraged, and that's one factor pointing against us. Now, the thing to keep in mind with some of these smaller cap plays is that they often don't get the same amount of analysts simply weighing in with their opinion. And with a smaller sample size of analysts, we're going to get more sporadic results. In fact, I could only find a few analysts for this stock, and the most recent reputable ones set their price target at $19. So we'll set the monkey line of support at $19, but keep in mind that this is a little bit more sporadic. But the value in knowing this is that now we know that investors are looking at a high price level prediction. That doesn't mean that they think it's worth this, but they know that there are analysts ranking this at an average of $19. And personally, it does seem ludicrous that anyone would set a massive price target at this point, albeit a reputable analyst firm, as even at resistance we were trading at only $11.62 and we're now down at $3.12. So it's hard to make such a bold prediction when we don't even know how successful the phase trial results will be, and thus this is an example of why you can't just go by analyst predictions. Use them as a sort of ballpark to see if you're trading below or above analyst predictions. These monkey lines of support are for you to get a feel for whether investors are going to be pointing bullish or pointing bearish on the stock. The monkeys often have no idea what's going on, but they do impact other investors in the segment. And if this one has positive news on the first, we have a massive amount of upside that will no doubt be helped by the bullish monkey sentiment. Okay, the next one is CNST. Now, CNST will have their phase 2 interim data due June 3rd. Now, CNST is trading above penny stock range at the moment, but I'm including this on the list because it was a penny stock under a few months ago. As you know, penny stocks are defined by the SEC as any stock trading under $5. Since this is essentially not far from penny stock territory and can easily go back into it, I will include it on this list, and I hope that's fine with you guys. But anyways, the data releases for their drug for myelofibrosis, and in terms of upward technical potential, it has upward potential from $10.63 up to $14.04. Now factoring in monkey level of support, we can place the line at 18 as analysts are predicting $8 of upward potential. Another crazy prediction from our folks over at the zoo. We don't really care what people think it's going to be worth years down the line. What we care is if it will provide the volatility that we need to trade off of. And just strictly technically speaking, CNST has a bunch of periods of selling and providing discounts and then recovering to previous resistance as we see here and here. This allows us to spot discounts and then wait until we see signs of an uptrend and a confirmation, then hold until we break previous resistance. I guess the question is whether this current sell-off will continue and provide us a discount while also allowing us to profit off a potential run-up from positive phase data. If it's negative, even better. We could buy in at a better discount, making sure to ride the price strength back upwards. The next one is JRN. JRN is trading a bit high on the medium-term chart, but over the long run, it's trading near its overreaction lows after being beat down like a sick dolphin back in September. Their phase 3 trial will be commencing soon, and phase 2 data will be updated June 15th. Now remember, this company is a sick dolphin. Just sort of swirls around in the water. And the reason that it's on this list is because the company now has every incentive in the world to spin whatever news and thus attention they need in order to get more bullish investors into the stock. They need to bolster their share price. Previous attempts have been pushing the direction into the post $1 range, which is decently good. It has been pretty sustainable and consistent for them. But this is a relatively minimal uptrend since the start of the year, especially when you compare it to the overall long-term upward potential. So here we have a sick dolphin losing money and desperately trying to swim again. It will do anything in its power to turn that direction around, and the fact that it is trading so low means that if it is at all successful at bolstering bullish sentiment, then we have a large amount of upward potential all the way back to nearly $7. And you may ask, well, hey, Charlie, why would any investor have a bullish sentiment on this stock? Well, put quite simply, FDA announcements and data releases tend to bring a lot more coverage for companies. And with more coverage comes more volume, and with more volume comes more investors, and so on and so forth. Thus, a positive news catalyst this month can be glorious, as we have much more upward potential than downward potential. But it's ever so important to wait for a confirmation and make sure that you're seeing those early warning signs of a reversal. Now, ZIOP will have their phase 1 data on June 2nd for refractory glioblastoma multiforme something. Now, this one does not have as much upside in terms of both technical resistance and monkey level of support. Resistance is pretty close at 483, and monkey level of support is just a bit over 650. Now, 650 may sound like a nice price target, but remember how the monkeys tend to overblow and drastically overvalue stocks with their price targets. These price targets are way wacky increases. So keeping this in perspective, 650 quite frankly doesn't look so swift. But the big issue is that we have actual technical resistance so close to the current trading price, and what this tells me is that we also have a massive amount of downward potential. The only thing that the price action has going for it is the overall upward direction. And that's the reason I want to include this on the list. When we have a stock with a consistent uptrending pattern, we want to get in when we see a pushback from an uptrend. If we look back on the previous price action, we see several periods of pushbacks from uptrends in which we could have taken advantage of the price action. And keeping this in mind, negative phase 1 data could be the catalyst that pushes the stock back below the long-term support and to oversold on the RSI, which could then bring us more than 100% in upside. And more importantly, this could give us the opportunity to buy in at the dip. Now, on the other hand, positive phase data can provide some volatility upwards. But if you're thinking of going long on a position like this, if you're thinking of buying into a position like this, my suggestion is to tread lightly. I think one of my favorite routes with this particular setup is to short the stock. But if you're going long on a position, I would tread lightly as this has been consistently running up, and a phase 1 data release that is good may not move the stock price upwards as much as a bad release would move it downwards. If you think about it, everybody is expecting it to go positively. The consistent run-up is a display of that. So if it does go positively as expected, it's already going to be baked into the share price. But if it goes negatively, something to keep in mind. All right, so the next one is ETAN. Now, ETAN will have an FDA approval decision likely in June. It could happen towards the end of May as I film this video, but likely we'll see it in June, or at least some of the fallout in June. And if approved, this is expected to be the first and only preservative-free product that is approved for treatment of this allergic conjunctivitis. They also have some other FDA approvals in the pipeline, such as with ET202. But anyways, I am excited about ETAN specifically because we have this spikeability factor, spiking rapidly and then quickly eating away the gains. I'd love to see some warning signs of this happening again around the time of the announcement, but I'll be the first to tell you this is going to be one of the more challenging FDA approvals to trade off of. And this is because of the simple fact that we don't have an exact date. Usually we have an exact date. But setting alerts for increased volume and certain entry point criteria can allow you to keep a passive eye on this stock going into this month. So if we see a huge spike, it may also be in our favor to take a short position with this one, as there may be more technical downside than upside. Insider activity on this guy is also a combination of bullish and bland. We have insiders buying shares towards the end of 2018, but just like with PTN, these folks were buying in below current market value, so not necessarily that bullish of a sign. It's better than not having them though. Now, PIRS has two big events coming up. We've got phase 1 initial data release due on May 22nd, and we've got a presentation on a different day on June 16th, and on a different set of data. Now, the reason this is notable is because presentations give companies not only the time to explain their findings, but also to market them in a way that leads investors to the conclusion that it can become more profitable. I am yet to see or hear of a presentation where a company presents and explains how their drug will never be profitable. This is just simply not in the interest of these companies, especially with these small cap companies where the whole success of the company comes down to literally that one drug. Nonetheless, flops do happen, and this will be an important stock as we do have a fair amount of technical upside long term from 359 to 585. But even better with a potential sell-off back to previous support while also enjoying this overall upward direction. So this established pattern of recovering to higher highs is quite beautiful, and if we see a continued sell-off after this massive down day at market close on Friday, we could afford ourselves a pretty little discount. But I do think there are two big technical questions with this stock. The first is whether or not this upward direction will be a trend reversal from the sell-off towards the end of last year. And the second is whether or not the phase data releases will be enough to spur more interest, volume, and volatility into the price action. An influx of volatility would be beautiful. But as always, I'd keep a lookout and make sure to get in at a good deal. It's simply not smart to buy in above fair value. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't forget to reach out to us below or on the ZipTrader Circle Facebook group. Have a great day, folks, and I'll see you in the next video.